Hey everyone, Matt Jobin with Reach Your Summit, and I am about to embark on an overnight kayak camping trip. I had planned taking a few days off a couple of weeks ago, and so I got my permits for the night, and it's expected to rain today and tomorrow. So that's the nature of the beast. A little rain isn't gonna hurt, so I'm heading out. Got everything packed up in dry bags here, not just because I'll be out on the water, but also because I am anticipating some rain. And here's my map. I am going to be paddling down the Connecticut River, and I'm going to be starting just north of Whalebone Creek. I'm gonna paddle down, go around the island through Selden Cove and Selden Creek, come out on the Connecticut River, and paddle back upriver and camp on Selden Neck Island for the night. And I have my permit for camping, and I'm pumped. Been looking forward to this. It's a beautiful area. It's a great place to get out and enjoy the water, enjoy a sunset. Although I probably won't be getting that this time. I'm going to document this trip and show you what it's all about. Alright, see you at the river, guys. Alright, so I am down here right near the ferry. The weather is actually cleared up. No rain. Cloudy, but no rain. So I'm going to wait until this ferry docks, and then I'm going to put in. I am all packed up and ready to go. Alright, I'm about to put in, head down river. Alright, so there was a huge charter boat that was going down the river right when I put in. So I took a quick detour out to Whalebone Creek. A little peace and quiet from all the boats. You could see the ferry out there going around. And the tide is going out, but the wind is working against me. So I'm probably still going to go down the river and go around the island and make my way to camp after. Low tide is at 3:30, 3:40, and it is now 3:25. So almost low tide. I'm gonna make my way downriver. It's really cool. There's a osprey's nest up there. All right. Awesome. Oh, there's an osprey. All right. Check that out. Maybe I'll get an awesome sunset later. We'll find out. But as you can see, it's low tide right now, so I might end up paddling around the rest of the island and go up the cove and then come back down this way to where I am now, which this is my camp for the night. Oh, the sun. Whew. That is awesome. All right. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna pull this kayak up later on. This is my camp for the night. Got my fire pit here, which with it dry and some firewood over there, I might actually be able to have a nice fire tonight. And then I've got a couple of picnic tables here. Nice, very nice. And then right over here, I think I'm actually going to set up my tent, and I got a nice view looking out over the water. Oh man, I can't wait. This is awesome. This is one of my favorite spots. The other one is a place called Hogback, but this one you get a little more privacy, and with how windy it is currently, with all the storms coming through, I felt this would give me better wind protection, and I've got a decent amount of tree cover also, so good storm protection. And if I absolutely needed to, I can park my tent right there or even right there and get good protection. But I've still got about 4 hours until sunset, so I'm not going to just sit around camp the whole time here. But I'm looking forward to coming back. It's a hiking trail. Goes right up through there. And the bathroom. So the temperature, it's actually cool 74 degrees. Alright. There's those southwesterly winds coming in from the storm. This is the Boreal Design Ook Pick 13-foot boat. I love it. It's super stable. It's a good beginner touring boat, but I've used it. I'm an intermediate to advanced paddler, and I still love using it. You get a lot of storage outside of the boat here, as you can see. I've got space to stash things in here, which this got a little wet just because of the choppy water that I was dealing with a little bit earlier, which you saw in the video. Then I have some storage back here too. And we'll go over all the gear later on. But yeah, as mentioned, so I brought a book with me. I'm gonna be out here. If it's super stormy tonight, I'm not going to be wanting to sit out in the pouring rain, and I'm going to need something to occupy my time. So I've been enjoying this book, and I'm gonna read some more of it tonight in my tent. I've got all of my gear in here. Trekking poles I have in case I wanted to hike, And also, this is going to help with part of my shelter, and you will see what shelter I chose in the video in a little bit once I get that set up later. This seat, super comfortable, just enough padding to give me comfort for long duration. Got my jacket. And then on this boat, I also have a rudder, which is pedal controlled, and by pulling this line right here, and there's a lock right here, I can loosen this up and that rudder will drop down, and it will give me stability and keep me on a straightforward track, or as straightforward as possible when it's super windy and choppy like it was before. As I said, I'm an experienced paddler, and I didn't feel like dropping that down. I just wanted to paddle and get over here. So those paddles are right there, and you can see the line runs right along both sides. And the line comes right out here, and so I can rotate the pedal to left and right depending on the track that I want to take. But this boat is roto-molded, so it is polyethylene plastic completely all around. It has a semi-defined chine. It's not well defined like some other boats, like say a Wilderness Systems Pungo, but it gives me good primary stability, and my secondary stability is pretty good too. With it rounded, it also allows me to adapt to choppy water, and it's a great boat, super comfortable. I can get, long duration trips out of it, and I've been super happy with it. This kayak weighs around, I'd say 52, 53 pounds, so it's not a lightweight, and price, I think it's around $1,100, $1,200, so it's a great boat. And then this paddle that I have is just the basic Bending Branches Whisper. Nothing too fancy, just because I was going to be doing a shorter overnight trip on the river here. And the clouds are starting to clear, the sky's turning blue, the sun was coming out as you saw. I'm really pumped to be out here. The weather was expected to be crap all day today, so I'm really happy that it's clearing up. So let's go paddle the rest of the island. This is one thing you gotta worry about too. Check that out. It's got something. There's a heron. Check it out. There's another osprey nest. And down that way is Long Island Sound. We're gonna go off to the left here and go down into that cove. There's one of the local hangouts. We're going right down that side into the cove. Check that out though. Woo! The sky is clearing. Oh man. And the sun's coming out again. Some osprey. Yeah, now it's time to get everything set up. I am starving. I cannot wait for dinner. Oh yeah. The blue sky is making its way in. Awesome. All right. So high tide is coming in. As you can see, the water is definitely a lot higher up than it was before. And you can see it moving in too. So with that being said, the first order of action is to get some fresh water. Alright, so for those of you who have never used Aquamira, there are two parts, a part A and a part B. So, take the small cap that you have, and you just do 7 drops of part A, and 7 drops of part B. Alright, then we let it sit for 5 minutes. Alright, so our 5 minutes is up. We've got this yellow concoction, and we just take that concoction and pour it into the water, and we let it sit for 30 minutes. And I like to shake it a little bit too, just let it get through all that water. And then we'll just let that sit. Alright, let's set up camp. So I'm gonna set up right here for the night. Got everything right in this dry bag. Grab the footprint, because sometimes the solid ground here can be a little difficult on a tent. So I brought the Sierra Designs Lightyear 1 and the footprint for it. Weight wasn't too much of a concern for me with the kayak, although I did still try to keep it light overall, just so I'm not dragging the boat around. But this shelter is going to be enough room for me for tonight, and with the setup I'm going to do, I'm going to have an awesome view of the sunset, which is going to be happening in a couple of hours. So let's get this set up. So I chose this spot. I'm anticipating that it is not going to rain tonight. It's just, the sky is clearing, it is gorgeous. I might get a shower at night, but I'll already be in here. I don't think it's going to be too bad, honestly, with how the weather has changed throughout the day. So I'm going to go with setting up right here so I can enjoy the view, enjoy the sounds of the water. So I treated this with permethrin before I decided to bring it out. I treated it yesterday and let it dry overnight. And so that'll give me extra protection against ticks, mosquitoes, deer flies, which are flying around here. And also with the humidity, it's going to be a little buggy. So notice I'm not really swiping bugs away from me at all. It's because all of my clothing's treated in permethrin also. It definitely helps keep those little buggers away. Alright, so I could just go with a setup like this. In case it rains, I don't want to mess around with any of that. So I'm going to put the rain fly on, and I'm going to look right out there. Alright, first we're actually going to get our sleep system set up. So I've got the Sierra Designs Lightyear 1, Sierra Designs Cloud 35, Thermarest Neo Air X-Therm, and the Sea to Summit Ultralight Pillow. So what's really unique about this tent is Sierra Designs gives you some extra guy line, and you can rig, all I have to do is unclip this, let it drop, and I can grab my trekking poles. You have these loops right here, and if I feed this line through, like so, I can take this and sit my trekking pole through it, and then the other end, and I'm actually just going to do a figure 8. Just like that. How awesome is that? As you can see, there are some more clouds coming in, so could get a quick shower tonight. So since I am kayak camping, I'm going to splurge a little bit on this trip. Also, I wanted to relax a little bit, and so I've got good to go Thai curry, local brewery here in Connecticut, Stony Creek. I've got a pineapple juiced IPA. That's going to be my dinner, and I'm getting super relaxed with it and just using my MSR wind burner. Add some luxuries to this trip. Don't need that. Alright, I added the coconut powder and stirred it up with boiling water. Because it's a good to-go meal and it's all real ingredients, it's going to take about 20 minutes. So in the meantime, I'm going to start a fire. There's a fire ring here, and I can't not have a fire when it's nice out, and it looks like I'm just dodging a storm too, if you look off that way. So, got my fire is dying down. Clouds are all starting to move in again. Oh, there's the moon. It's awesome. But, got my boat here. I might flip it upside down just in case it does rain tonight, so the inside of my kayak doesn't get soaked. So I'm just packing everything up, getting ready for bed. So here's another really cool feature to the Sierra Designs Light Year 1. We have this little pouch here hanging from the tent that you can put your headlamp in. See you guys soon. Good morning. Looks like I got a little specks of blue sky. Low tide, but that was a couple of hours ago. It's around 7:30 in the morning now, and the tide is making its way back in. I think high tide is around 10:38 this morning, 10:39. As you can see, a little bit of rain that came through last night. Not too much though. Yeah, some little drops. Not a lot. I think I heard it go through. It's just a couple of very quick, powerful, spotty showers. The wind picked up a little bit too. But this tent held up without any issues at all. Kept me nice and dry. Oh yeah, check out those layers of clouds. So I went a little quick and easy with breakfast here. I'm gonna have some Alpine Start coffee, which you've seen in some of my more recent videos. But this one already has soy milk and chai tea blended in with it, and it's delicious. They have a coconut milk one too, which is really good. So you don't have to bring anything if you didn't want to, but since I have my stove here, I'm gonna have this as a hot drink. Then I've got my protein cookie, snickerdoodle, and then I've got some maple pear quinoa oatmeal. I cannot wait. Alright, so for those who may want to see the stove in action, all you've got to do is turn this so you hear the fuel coming out. And you light it. Oh, I think I missed it. There we go. And you wait for that little element to heat up and turn orange. And I attach this like so, and then I just let it boil. Alright, there's my coffee. So, looks like something else was out here enjoying the island with me last night. Could be mistaken, but those look like they could be raccoon tracks. Either raccoon or possum. I'm leaning more toward raccoon. But I can't blame them for wanting to come out here. This is a beautiful place to be. Alright, so when I'm cleaning things on my trips, I don't use any soap. What I like to do is just use my hands and some water. So after I've gotten as much of the remnants out as I can, pour a little bit of water in there. Then I'll just slosh my hand around. then I'll just disperse the rest of the water, and it's not a lot, so. There you go. Granted, I did have coffee in there, but that is pretty clean. I'll let that air dry. Same thing with my utensils. I don't like using soaps, even if they say they're biodegradable. I try to avoid it unless I go with like Dr. Bronner's. Alright, and then same thing. And that is pretty clean for the most part. And then for my hands, I'll just grab a little bit of hand sanitizer. Alright, and then to pack everything out that I packed in, take these and just set that down for a second. These bags inside of my dry bag here, those are the OP sacks, and they work great. In my experience, they've worked really well for a month before I need to replace it. And it keeps heat and humidity out, protects everything that's inside of it, and it helps block its odor. With that bag and this dry bag, I can throw all of my scraps and bags and packaging and things like that inside of that odor-proof bag like I just did, and roll that up, close that and roll that up. And then with my dry bag, which I'll use even on backpacking trips, I can roll that up and buckle that down. And if anything had a little bit of remnants in it, or any drops of liquid or anything, I can be assured that that's not going to seep out and go into the rest of my pack. That way I'm able to pack everything up. I'm not bringing lots of trash bags. I like to avoid using plastic as much as possible. So I'm not going to bring a whole bunch of plastic bags or things like that. That's just my personal preference. Now, a lot of you might be wondering what to bring for a kayak camping trip or a kayak overnight trip, especially if it's your first time. So I'm going to go over with you now what I brought for this trip. Obviously you need a kayak to be able to get around, but I also have my PFD, I have my paddle, I have cycling gloves here that have gel padding on the bottom. They give me a little bit of sun protection, they're breathable and dry quick if they get wet, and it helps with blister prevention also. I've got my buff, which that came in handy for some of the water that got inside of here yesterday, just because they're sealed to a certain extent, but some water can still seep in, and with the choppy water that I was paddling through and the wind, it definitely got in there a little bit, and that's why everything is in dry bags also. Alright, so I got that stuff. Got the trekking poles, which I showed you with the tent. I have a canvas bag here, and it's just a standard canvas shopping bag. And with paddling trips, bald eagle. So awesome. Sorry about that.
It was like one of those dog-like moments. Squirrel! So when I'm out paddling on the river here, the issue that you come across a lot is trash, and trash washes up no matter where you are. It washes up onto the shoreline or onto the riverbanks. And so I have this canvas bag here, so I can go around and pick up some trash. I did find a few plastic bottles that were floating around, and so I like to pick up trash when I'm out on trips, even more so when I'm on my own and it's just me and I'm able to take my time. That way I can clean these places up and make them more enjoyable and more beautiful than they already are, which they are already to a very high degree, but just cleaning it up will help with that wow factor, like I just had with that bald eagle, and also help preserve these areas, protect these environments, these ecosystems, and keep the wild wild. And I'm gonna scope out this area before I leave too, and just pick up anything that might still be lingering around that I didn't notice when I was setting everything up yesterday. So I have my one-person tent. This is the Sierra Designs Lightyear 1, as I showed you. I've got my Sierra Designs Cloud 35 sleeping bag, top quilt. I've got pillow, sleep socks, which were great because I was able to take my wet socks off from yesterday. They did get a little wet from paddling, and they were able to dry quick, and my footwear was able to dry quick also. Got my headlamp up in here. Show you that. You saw that last night hanging in that. But I just have the Black Diamond Ion. This is 100 lumens, but it only weighs a couple of ounces. Being the middle of summer, I don't really need a lot of light. So I was able to walk around until close to 10 o'clock last night. Granted, I had the fire going too for a while before I smothered it out for the night and watered down the coals, but I still had some moonlight that popped through a little bit. I've got my spot device here. This is going to give me communication if I need it, but I do have cell service here, so it's not too bad. I also have my multi-tool, Swiss Army Classic, 7 tools. That's all I need. I'm not going crazy with survival or anything. And here I have wallet, keys, my sleep system stuff. I've got the Thermarest Neo Air X Therm on my book, which I got through a page or two of that last night before I passed out. It's usually the case. When you're reading late at night, you end up getting super, super sleepy pretty quick after a long day. I've got my Windburner MSR stove. This thing worked great for this trip. Gave me a little bit of luxury that I normally don't have on my own personal trips. Yeah, this is great. And the stove itself with the fuel canister. Got my compass here and my map for paddling. Hand sanitizer, which came out really great for interim cleaning. My soft water bottle pouch. Bug net, head net. Didn't need that, but I didn't know how the bugs would be. In this pouch here, I've got my external battery pack. Going forward, I've got sunblock, insect repellent, lip balm, my Aquamira, which is very beneficial for giving me clean drinking water. And then I've got extra clothes in here. So I won't go into great detail with that. I basically have everything on that I have on now, and my pair of sleep socks that I have in my tent. And then in here I have the Patagonia R1 fleece and a pair of Outdoor Research Helium 2 rain pants, just in case it got really wet yesterday. I had those intervals where I was able to dry to a certain extent, and then it completely cleared, as you saw later on in the day, and everything was able to dry for the most part. And then once I got the fire going, I just dried everything out at night, so I didn't have an issue with that. But I was planning on being out soaking wet the whole entire trip. My bag here, and this has a lot of the essentials in it. So I've got my emergency space blanket, body glide, some cleaning supplies, first aid kit, gear repair kit, emergency items, hygiene items. And we've got some TP and a lighter. And lastly, I've got my food bag, and at the bottom of it I have my bear bag hanging kit. I don't have to worry about too much being on the island, but I do have to worry about those little bandits, like the raccoon tracks that I showed you. So I did have everything in the odor-proof bag, and then I had it locked up in one of the hatches in the hull of the boat. So that way I didn't have any issues with that for this trip. As you can see, the tide is coming up, and so I'm going to pack everything up, and that's going to be my way out. Be able to just stand on the rocks, get into my boat, not have to drag it, and then I can head back upriver. Alright, here's everything packed up once more. My tent in here, all my other items in here, sleep system, and my little bit of clothing in there, wallet, keys. I just had my pad there, book, food, spot, hand sanitizer, map, trekking poles, and then the water, which I gotta fill up before I go. And we're gonna pack all of this stuff up inside of here. do one last perimeter check. All right, I think we are good to go. All right, some boats went by, so we gotta wait. Otherwise, that's gonna be a pain to deal with getting in. Lunchtime. Hopefully this guy will slow down. That's going to be a lot of weight to deal with if he doesn't. And I've got somebody behind me too. He's zipping by in a speedboat, and this guy is not slowing down. That's coming at me. Alright. Didn't want my phone to go in the drink back there. It's tough to see, but Gillette Castle is off there in the distance, up in the trees. Yeah, I'll swing by on my way back just to show you guys the outside of the castle. This will be driving by it. Oh, we got a little bit of rain coming in. Yeah, it is pouring out now. Whew. I'm hoping it's just a quick shower. I'm not even gonna put my rain jacket on. That's gonna be soaked anyway. Past where the ferry docks. This is where we take out. Alright. Promised you all a view of Gillette Castle, so I'll give you one more view of this awesome castle. That's where we were, right down there. Right off to the left. Looks like we just got back in time too. One more view. It's awesome.